Yo, what's going on, guys? It's the motherfucking King here, coming at you with another commentary, and welcome to the first episode of Fuck You. Now, I kind of been hyping up this episode for a while now because this is something I'm very passionate about, and I've always wanted to express myself on this topic. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to clarify that I don't hate consoles. I just want to express to those who may not be aware of it that there's other options out there that are objectively better and verifiably so. The first device I actually ever gamed on was a Nintendo 64. From there, I played on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, to PlayStation 4, and then now I have a PC. As a lot of you may have heard, there's been rumors circulating that PlayStation has plans to announce their new console this year. It's also been rumored that Nintendo has plans to announce its new console in early 2017. And obviously, Microsoft has already announced their new console, codenamed Project Scorpio, to be released somewhere near the end of 2017. But there's a certain reason I'm picking on Microsoft's console today. But before we get into that, let's lay out the reasons why PC is better than consoles in general.
Just master race things.
So one of the biggest arguments console players had to justify owning a console is price. I mean, maybe back in 2013 when the consoles first launched, they can make that argument. But in the US and some places in Europe, that's simply not the case anymore. Not only are there insanely cheap and console crushing performance builds on YouTube, mostly composed from used and bargain bin parts that they got from either local shops or from services like eBay. But those PCs aren't necessarily convenient, meaning they're not very future proof. So if you plan on upgrading your PC, which you should, you're probably gonna have to start from scratch all over again. So I built a PC for you guys that's not only easily upgradable, but actually beats the consoles in performance and is very similar in price. Link in the description below. Another argument that console players have always used is it's easily accessible, meaning you just plug the console in and you plug it into your TV, then you start playing right away. But with constant firmware updates and a barrage of patches delivered by the developers of all your favorite games, I'd argue again that's not the case anymore. I mean, sure, there still is a big learning curve to PC as opposed to console, but as technology advances, that learning curve gets smaller and smaller each day. Not to mention the fact that a large part of the bigger learning curve is the fact that there is simply more to do on a PC than there is to do on a console. A lot of people like to defend consoles by saying, oh, the exclusives are better. While that statement is subjective, objectively, PC has more exclusive than console has released in the history of ever. But I don't see how that's a pro to consoles. If these games were ported to PC, you would be able to play them at higher frame rates, higher resolution, higher graphical settings. The things that they would be able to do with exclusives like Uncharted 4, which is a great game. It's a great looking game. It's a great looking PS4 title, but just imagine what it could do at 4K on a GTX 10X Pascal. Even though I do respect that these are intellectual properties that own to Sony and Nintendo, I don't see how people cannot see the fact that that's blatantly anti-consumer. I mean, wouldn't it be fucking amazing if you could play the new Legend of Zelda game at 4K? Well, with the new Wii U emulators coming out, it seems like that may become a possibility. But you're probably gonna need a pretty beefy rig. Speaking about emulators, not only can PC play some of your favorite games that date back to the 1980s, including the cultural classic E.T. on the Atari 2600, but you can do that whilst ponying news on the newly released AAA title from DICE, Battlefield 1 at 4K. Not only that, but PC has native backwards compatibility. I mean, sure, some games might have some issues when upgrading to newer versions of Windows, but those are usually easily fixable either by third-party or first-party resolutions. PC also has a lot of different peripherals, meaning you could hook up your GameCube controller to play Smash on your PC at 4K. A lot of console owners like to point out the fact that they like to play on their bed or they like to play on their couch. So they bought a console so they don't have to move around a big ass PC to move around the house. And I say to those people, look up Steambox. You could play your PC games on your TV, no movement necessary. And the last point a lot of console owners like to use to justify their purchase is to say that console has better optimization. While for the most part that is true, they still have to dumb down the graphics and often take a hit to the resolution and or frame rate in order to get that console optimization that you speak of. And while there are some truly shitty PC ports, meaning they run like shit no matter how powerful your hardware is, or just straight up bugs and glitches, word often travels fast in the PC market, causing PC users to revolt and boycott shitty PC ports, thereby all but forcing the developer to fix their PC ports and encourage other developers to not release their ports broken. I don't really see that sense of community in the console market. So now that I've tackled consoles in general, let me get into the reason why I've targeted Project Scorpio in particular. So far, spec-wise, Project Scorpio is actually looking pretty promising. Essentially, you're getting an underclocked, cut-down version of the RX 480, which is actually the budget GPU of choice for 2016. It has fantastic performance for its price, and I actually do have a build down there in the description below if you'd like to check it out. And if it releases at the same price that the original Xbox One released with, it actually is a pretty good bargain. But the way Microsoft is going about this console is all wrong. First of all, Microsoft is aiming for 4K. Don't get me wrong, the RX 480 can handle 4K at some games with obviously lower settings, but the RX 480 is meant to be played at 1080p 60 FPS at ultra settings. The current Xbox One actually runs some games at sub 720p, but that's not even the reason I made this video. The reason I targeted Project Scorpio specifically is because there simply is no reason to buy Project Scorpio. One of the big pushes made by Microsoft at the E3 2016 conference was merging the Xbox brand with PC. That was one of the biggest reasons that I covered the detriments of consoles in general in the first part of this video, because one of the last even semi-valid reasons to purchase a console was because of the exclusives. And now PC players can play all your exclusives at 1080p 60 FPS. In fact, the only Xbox exclusive that I haven't heard been planning for a release on PC is Halo 5 or the Master Chief Collection. But judging by the sales of Halo 5, nobody seems to care much. I was also under the impression that consoles were supposed to be released 5 to 8 years apart, but allegedly the PS4 Neo is planned to be released in 2016. So there goes your argument of having to upgrade a PC every year. At least with PC you get to choose what parts you upgrade instead of having to buy a new box every 3 to 4 years. So there is not one reason I could think of why anybody should buy a Project Scorpio. And you know what? At least with Nintendo and PS4 exclusives, they stay on their respective consoles. Even though that's anti-consumer, I have to respect that. So instead of picking up a PS4 Neo this holiday season or an Xbox Scorpio next holiday season or whenever the fuck the NX is gonna come out, I highly suggest you go build a PC or build the PC that's down in the description. There's cheap PCs down there and they're really good performance for an excellent price. Anyways, boys, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you're a console fan fag, feel free to hit the dislike button. Share this video with your friends, your family, whoever, console peasants. It's all Gucci up in here. Anyways, boys, it's been the motherfucking king, and I'm out. Peace.